my name is Angie Thayer and I'm a celebration expert for Wilton brands. And today I want to talk about big desserts, and bigger is always better, especially when it comes to desserts. So Wilton has this giant cupcake pan, which makes desserts that you can use for any holiday, any event, any celebration. For example, Valentine's Day, a first birthday. You can even make little houses out of it, actually. So what you're going to do is you want to take the pan and you're going to want to either use shortening and flour, or you can use some cake release. I love to use cake release because the cakes always come out great. But when you're using shortening and flour, just make sure all the crevices are filled in so the cake doesn't stick. Now when using cake release, I take a brush and I just wipe the cake release around so it hits all the crevices. And again, the purpose of this is so the cake does not stick after it's done baking when you're trying to release it. And you'll do this in both halves. Once you've completed that, you're going to want to make either your favorite homemade pound cake recipe, or you can use the pound cake recipe that's on a boxed mix. It's usually on the side panel, or you can go to the company's website. You're going to need 2 boxes if you use boxed cake mix, because you're going to need 6 cups of batter. You're going to want to use 2½ cups for the top half. So I'll pour that in there. Now, something else you can do to add a little pizzazz to your batter is you can add some nonpareils or some sprinkles, and it adds a little pop to it. So you've got 2½ cups, remember, in the top half, so this is going to be the top part of your cake. Then you're going to take 3½ cups and pour that in what's going to be your bottom part of your cake. And now I had said you can use sprinkles and nonpareils. You can also use icing color to color your batter, which would be kind of cool. For Valentine's Day, you could do pink, and your whole batter would be pink, and then when you open up the cake, it's going to be pink. Now, some people have said they've had issues with uneven baking. So part of it is you can turn your pan around halfway through the baking time. Please make sure you do use the appropriate amount of batter, so 2½ cups and 3½ cups, to make sure you have even heating. So those are 2 issues you want to look at. Then what you're going to do is put this in a preheated oven at 325 and bake it about an hour, or until a toothpick comes out clean. Once your cake has baked, you're going to want to let it cool in the pan for about 15 minutes. And then you're going to want to let it cool completely on a cooling grid. So take your cooling grid, put it on top of the pan, and flip it over. Now, if you've greased your pan correctly, it should come out just like that. So simple, huh? Then what you're going to do, after it's completely cooled, you're going to need to make the top part of the bottom of the cake level and the bottom part of the top cake level, so the 2 pieces stick together nicely. What I like to do is take a serrated knife and just cut straight down like this. Now, you know you're going to have this extra cake, and that's okay, because you can use it as like a tort, so you can do layers with cake and then pudding or icing and fruit. So there's always something to do with leftover cake. Now, if you're a little concerned and don't think you can do that level just like I did, you can put your cake back in the pan. I'm doing right here. Move this over to the side, and you can use the pan as a guide. So take your knife and go straight across like this. Very easy. Kids are going to be so excited. They love it. My kids love it when I make dessert at home, especially because this is so big. The giant cake. All right, then what you're going to do is flip that out again. You can flip it back out on the cooling grid, that's fine. And you're going to want to now put the 2 pieces together. I'm going to move my extra cake to the side so you can see what I'm doing. Now, in order to do this, take some icing like I have here. Now, if you made a chocolate pound cake, you might want to do some chocolate icing. That way you don't see it as well. But white is still fine, whatever you would like to do, because it's just going to be a thin layer between the 2 pieces of cake. Just like this. Because it's working as a glue or as an adhesive, so they stay together. Okay? So that looks about good. Then you take the top piece and attach it. And if you want to do some trimming, you can always trim. You know, if you've got some extra pieces there that I didn't want to see, you can always do that. One other thing that I forgot to mention is you can flip the bottom part of the cake over and still put the top on, so it looks like you have a little fairy house, or you can make it as a dog house. So this pan has many variations you can do. The giant cupcake, you could do little houses, and then you've got your blank canvas that you can use to decorate according to the theme of your party.